Hi everyone, I'm Jessica Holguin and I'm a member of the Employee Ownership Commission. I am joined today by Kayvan Kalabari from Sexy Pizza. Kayvan, it's a pleasure to have you here with us. Talk to us a little bit about Sexy Pizza and what inspired you and your business to begin considering employee ownership.
Well, we've been around for about 13 years now. And, we started as first time business owners, not really knowing what we were doing, one single store. And as we've grown, I think we really started to understand the value in taking care of our employees and treating them as well as possible, not just for their sake, but also for the sake of the health of the business. So it was, a lot of small steps along the way where we started offering benefits over time. And it was really about 2 years ago that we started discussing the idea of employee ownership. Profit sharing was really a step into thinking about employees having ownership, which we've offered now for 5 or 6 years to some of our upper level staff. This is a way to more broadly discuss employee ownership for us.
Thank you for sharing that. What employee ownership did you all use and why?
Ultimately, we settled on a phantom stock plan for a couple of reasons. One, there were some uh, issues with the types of entities that we have. Mine, it was just creating some kind of tax issues for us, and with having partners that maybe weren't as ready for this thought of employee ownership as I was, being in the network with folks like you and others, and I think really seeing the value. I think we wanted to step into this, a little more gradually, and a phantom stock plan is what we settled on because it allowed us to do that. It allowed us to be a little bit more flexible than a traditional ESOP. But my partners and I, when we went this route, we decided from day one that this phantom stock plan is temporary. That we do very much intend on going to a full ESOP here once we've kind of proven this concept in our heads and shown that it is going to be as valuable as all the other benefits that we offer. And all signs point to that being the case so far. So I wouldn't be surprised in the next year or two that you see us convert to a more traditional ESOP and dealing with some of those tax issues.
Great. What is the one thing your business does to promote the employee ownership mindset among employees?
It's a lot of communication. There, even with just basic benefits, I think we've been surprised historically to understand how employees need to really understand how benefits benefit them before they're willing to take advantage of them. And it started with offering things like fully compensated health, dental, and vision, and seeing some of the low participation rate that really highlighted for us that we needed to be very active in pushing our employees to use these benefits that we're offering. But I also think it's going to impact our hiring at the end of the day. And I think we're going to maybe find more people that are maybe a little older that might find more of a career opportunity with us.
Thank you. What has been one of the most surprising or significant benefits of employee ownership to date?
I'm really excited to see how it further affects our retention rates. I think because this is really our first year, we just sent out our first employee ownership kind of stock statement, stock certificates a couple weeks ago. So, very excited to hear the feedback that employees give us on that. But ultimately, after this year's over, I'm really curious to see how it affects retention. We're in an industry where this fast casual dining industry where you have about 100% turnover every year. And what we saw even prior to employee ownership was a turnover rate that was in the low 20s. So, if this employee ownership can better that, man, that would be just incredible.
Great. Now let's talk a little bit about the employee ownership process. What is the one thing you wish you had known when embarking on the employee ownership journey?
I think I kind of touched on it earlier. I think it was how difficult it would be to talk people into the idea of it. There's a lot of hesitation and disbelief and lack of trust by folks who have historically worked in the restaurant industry. They're not used to getting the types of benefits and the pay and the ownership that we're talking about. So overcoming the disbelief, I think, has been a little tougher than I would have liked. Um, uh, but that's the biggest thing. I think everything else there haven't been hurdles. It's been incumbent on us to be as transparent and communicative as possible.
So why would somebody consider employee ownership for their business?
I think the biggest thing, if you're purely driven by the health and success of a business, I think that retention I mentioned earlier is such a huge piece. To have retention rates that are that good is it's the lifeblood of a business. Turnover in the restaurant industry kills. Training is expensive. And we've seen the stories now coming out of the pandemic, how difficult it's been for restaurants, especially to find workers. We haven't had that issue. And it's because of how I like to think we take care of our employees. The value's just been tremendous. I don't think we've probably encountered all the value that we're going to see by doing this. But it takes a leap of faith. And I think we took that leap of faith. We put in that effort. We spent that money to get this done. And so far, I'd say it's far exceeded our expectations with regard to what it's meant for our company.
Kayvon, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. We truly appreciate learning more about Sexy Pizza. Thank you for being here today. Have a great day.
Yeah, thank you, Jessica.